Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hello. Okay, welcome to our Bank live stream. Today is Bank and Bifrost AMA, and our topic is that Bifrost slots auction takes new utility to Kusama. And today we invite the product manager, Tyrone of Bifrost, as our sharing guest. Welcome. And first, let Tyrone introduce himself and tell us what is Bifrost.
All right. Hello, guys from Bank, and today I'm happy to be here with Bank, and it's a cooperation stream with Bank and Bifrost. My name is Tyrone from Bifrost, and today I will firstly show you guys what is Bifrost and what we are doing now. Bifrost is actually a Polkadot ecosystem DeFi protocol. Is committed to become an infrastructure for pledged assets to provide liquidity, and it has launched a derivative V token for staking and the Polkadot Parachain Slot auction, which we call it SLP, and it has obtained about $2 million in fundraising from NGC, SNZ, DFG, CMS, and other institutions, and Web3 Foundation grant. It's also a member of Substrate Builders Program and Web3 Bootcamp. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so we see many projects of Polkadot ecosystem that may choose Parasras, not Polkadot Parachain Slot auction. So could you tell us about why you want a Parachain slot?
Yeah, of course. The parachain means the core of Polkadot. Polkadot just a layer 0 blockchain, and you can understand as parachains are the layer 1 blockchain, which integrated to Polkadot layer 0, and an important reason why we choose to require the parachain to be a Polkadot ecosystem is that it doesn't need to maintain a set of consensus by itself, because to maintain a consensus mechanism is high cost, and this is also an obvious advantage of being parachain to connect with the relay chain, which enjoys the parachain shared security provided by other parachains. And as I said, maintain a set of consensus security requires a lot of investment in capital and labor costs. It doesn't make sense for us or for a small project in initial to integrate and to invest loss of cost, and it will limit the creative organization to quickly produce a killer application. So after we accumulated development experience and research about the single chain and multi-chain framework, we finally decided to develop Bifrost by Substrate, and becoming a parachain will enable us to accumulate the liquidity from different pulse chains to Polkadot layer 1 and between Polkadot layer 1. So with the shared security, but not only use that small contract, because we used to use that, and we found the shortcut is that through the Bifrost parachain. So at the same time, Bifrost can use smart contracts to deploy services on the heterogeneous pulse chains outside of Polkadot. For example, our Ethereum derivative VETH will become an ERC20 token and Substrate-based dual assets after Bifrost mainnet on parachain's launch, and it will take much external value to Polkadot ecosystem beyond building bridges. Thank you.
The auction is very important for Bifrost, right? Users participating in the Kusama slot auction will face a lockup period up to 48 weeks. How does Bifrost unlock the staking liquidity during this period? What's the new utility to Kusama?
Yeah, that's a brilliant question, man. That's also what we recently doing, and that's the actually the creative thing that Bifrost is doing now. We have completed the development of the solution that allows users to release liquidity during the bounding period. The bounding period means you need to rent UDOT and Kusama for a power chain to bid to win the power chain auction. And if the power chain wins the auction, Kusama and DOT will be locked for 1 year or 2 years. It depends on the lease period of that power chain. And that is bounding period. The slot auction liquidity protocol, which we call it SLP or SOP, and the product page is expected to meet with you soon. And SOP is Bifrost's original creation or original intention by starting slot auction derivative is to help users unlock the liquidity of that 6 to 48 weeks KSM bounding period. At the same time, considering the uneven auction redemption period and other factors that may affect the liquidity of derivatives, therefore, we create derivative VS token and VS bound. These are the derivative for Kusama or DOT. You can realize that is VS KSM or VS DOT, which represent asset utility and equity attributes. Users can buy and sell VS token at any time, enjoy that liquidity, and hold VS bound to receive that auction rewards from the power chain you supported. This is something that other slot liquidity projects cannot do. As a financial product, disrupting utility of different power chains will cause a serious problem, which is low liquidity, which will make it hard to form a uniform derivative liquidity market in a long way, and low liquidity will definitely crash the experience of the derivative users. So Bifrost separates these two derivatives. With VS token, it can build an aggregative derivative market for all power chain boundings with high liquidity, and with VS bound, it can build a pending market for power chain rewards without liquidity. You can realize that it's a half fungible token in NFT market. We can say that SLP will create another utility for the Kusama, and beyond the utility of Kusama or DOT is that staking and power chain bounding. Now we can offer a third utility, which is the derivative market utility. Thank you.
Okay, so you design the V token as a fungible token to solve the liquidity of staking. I am curious about the problems with ensuring different derivatives for different parachains. So can you tell us about it?
All right. Actually, as I mentioned before, we created two different derivatives, which is VS token and VS bound. And VS token represent the utility feature, and VS bound represent the equity feature. And non-fungible factors such as different power chain lease periods, different redemption period, and inconsistent power chain reward strategy will have to lead the inability to achieve complete fungible derivatives. And non-fungible is an obstacle to liquidity. In contrast, the fungible derivative will put liquidity together from different power chain crowd loans and forming an objective liquidity advantage. And therefore, the Bifrost starts with the token attributes in crowd loan, and we actually decouples its attributes to utility and equity. We designed that two derivatives, VToken voucher slot token and voucher slot dot, VS bound and voucher slot bound. Yeah.
We know many Polkadot projects such as Akala, Plus, and Bifrost are competing for the first few Kusama slots. What is Bifrost bidding advantage in it?
Yeah, this question is really what users are or participants are concerning about. Because we have to compare several factors or different aspects to decide whether we will launch the DOT for Bifrost or other projects, right? So if you want to compare it, I suggest you can depend on from about four points. The first one is that project is mainnet bidding advantage. It means you can determine its canary network or the mainnet. For Bifrost, as the basic protocol for the DeFi derivative assets of Polkadot, we will not issue a canary network and run two sets of business logic, because doing so we will cause the community to split and dilute the liquidity of derivatives. Therefore, the power chain strategy adopted by Bifrost is to run only one mainnet. When the Kusama slot expires, the data will be snapshotted to Polkadot Genesis block to complete the migration of the mainnet from Kusama to Polkadot. And so all derivative VToken usage scenarios have been fully upgraded due to the strong bidding relationship between the value of BNC and the liquidity of the VToken, and the impetus of complete economic model. The value of BNC will steadily advance with the business development of the mainnet. So the process of the procedure for Bifrost is to develop on and to launch the mainnet on Kusama first, and we will also build the Polkadot power chain, and we will migrate the network from Kusama to Polkadot, but not create a canary network for the Kusama auction like other projects. And the second thing is that you can see that power chain release the liquidity for the bounding period. So Bifrost's unique slot auction liquidity protocol, as I mentioned, SLP will support Bifrost slot auction for the first time in the Kusama auction, and all Kusama pledged through the web page. What we are doing is we are currently reserving the addresses of Kusama, and we just exist for 40,000 addresses, Kusama address reservation, and will receive the liquidity derivative VS Kusama and VS bound. And the former is to use for release liquidity, and the latter one is used to receive the power chain rewards. And the third one you need to compare is the utility scenario of the project token or the project utility. Bifrost is doing SLP, the liquidity derivative, will reach in used scenarios on, for example, liquidity mining and the liquidity release. Firstly, VS Kusama, as a basic function of derivative token, will create the liquidity release of VS Kusama and Kusama. And secondly, VS bound as a semi homogeneous token will give birth to Pouchain like NFT trading market for reward certificates, in addition to being used to redeem the native Kusama and VS Kusama VS bound. And the final one, you need to compare is the token allocation of the project for Kusama. Now, most of Canary networks are releasing about 40 or 50% of their token for the participants of their Kusama crowdloan users, right? But Bifrost as the mainnet will not be 40 or 50% as much as they do, because we are actually just running one network from Kusama to Polkadot. So we will release about 40% reward will be released immediately, and the transfer will be initiated. Bifrost will initiate the token generation election proposal after the Pouchain is launched. And once the proposal is passed, and all mainnet BNC vouchers will be converted to native tokens, and the transfer will be initiated. 50% of the Pouchain auction rewards will be released immediately, and the remaining part will be released linearly within 48 weeks. So, as much as I said, in conclusion, these 4 points we can do is to compare the Pouchain features from is that a Canary network or mainnet, or is that have any utility on their token, and is there have creative things for using that token, or they have creative ideas and products you can use on the crowdloan. And the final one is the number of the location and what percentage it can release you immediately at the beginning if you support the Pouchain. Yes, that's the answer. Thank you.
Okay. We see our audience leave the message for us, and we will choose some questions. Let me see. From our audience, Rat, what is the project aim for?
Okay. Yeah. So actually, Bifrost is the, as I said, the substrate-based DeFi protocol to provide liquidity for pledge assets. The important thing is that pledge assets include staking assets, and we will provide a staking derivative for that pledge assets, such as the staking derivative and pledge mining liquidity in different POS blockchains to achieve the value aggregation among different ecosystem on Polkadot. And we've currently launched the V token to the staking derivative. We can have an example for it, what we aim for. Because in the past year, we can see about $10 billion in the DeFi market, and it's about 80 and 90% assets is using staking. So we saw the opportunity for the generation of the DeFi. Maybe it's not long like a compound, but it's going to be the derivative market for the next wave of the DeFi. So we will actually do is release part of the staking derivative, staking assets, and return them to derivatives. So this part of value will be gathered together in Polkadot as actually a deep liquidity pool for different POS chains. And we actually not running a bridge on it, but we can aggregate these assets from different POS chains. And Polkadot as a layer 0 blockchain can easily connect with these different power chains and different POS blockchains. So that's what we aim to do, is to build a aggregative staking derivative or derivative market for all DeFi market. Yes, I'm done. Thank you.
From our audience that hope it's easy to make a token, but it's really hard to make this token available. So what's your strategy to make your token more valuable, and what's your plan to maintain token price and the supply? Yeah, it's a good question.
That's a good question. Yeah. Actually, that's the important thing to concern about a project, is that the utility of that token, right? Actually, BNC have no inflation mechanism on it, so we will not inflation year by year, and the mechanism of the BNC and utility of it is really actually close relationship with the V token, which is the derivative of Bifrost. So our native token name is BNC, and our derivative name is V token. And the relationship between them two is that if anyone mint any derivative V token, and BNC will be used as many functions to mint that V token and absorb the value from the V token price. So we created a bidding market for buying some DOT or Kusama and other tokens for staking, for the to being a candidate of validator. So you have chance to be a validator in the mainnet of Kusama or Polkadot. And at this time, people or bidder will have to bid whether they will of the price to be the votes from users. So this value will be captured from BNC as a percentage, about 4 to 5% from each mint, and this the main utility of BNC. And BNC also will be rewarded for users who mint the derivatives. So the utility of BNC has many, as we mentioned in our white paper. So what I mentioned, just the main utility of it, and other utility such as the governance, right? The governance is actually the general utility for a native token on different or on all POS power chains, and it will also be reward token for the minters who mint the derivatives. So there are many scenarios for BNCs to use. Okay, thank you. Okay, we can go on.
Okay.
You done with that question?
Thank you. How important is community to Tesla? And what can we do as a community to help Tesla achieve its vision?
Actually, this I think is not a question for us.
For us, community to the Tesla?
Tesla will definitely connect with Polkadot ecosystem, right? And I think we don't need to concern about Tether because there are other stable coins that will be initiated in Polkadot ecosystem, and such as Akala USD, and we are actually integrated with them to provide the liquidity pool and the swap pool for the derivative. So we don't need to concern about it, right?
I don't know Tesla. Okay, first time to hear about this word. Okay, from our audience, Abdul Hamid, what is your motivation in like this project? What we will see in future? How will token owners benefit from this?
Okay, what is your motivation in making this project? All right. Actually, before we established Bifrost, we previously made a project named Liquidity. Is for also the staking derivative for IOST. You may heard about it, and actually the development of the Liquidity is for single chain and smart contract and Ethereum EVM, what we do. But we actually accumulate much experience on it, and we also achieve a marvelous result from it. But actually, the single chain, what we think is not the future of the DeFi and blockchain. So we chose to use Substrate to build a project, and we name it Bifrost for now. And that's the motivation. The motivation of us is, I said, we saw the utility of the DeFi staking derivative, and we can make beyond it, and we build a derivative market upon it, and it will be a new underlying asset market beyond the underlying asset market, and it can also achieve loan and other economic utility and features from it. So that's what we do, and that's what we think from it. And how will token owners benefit from it, from this, is that the token can be used in any scenarios by now, right? But the problem is if you stake your token on a pool, and the token will be pledged for a long time, and this time during the long time, this time will waste your opportunity cost, which means that you cannot do anything, or you can only choose to stake in DeFi, or you cannot use the DeFi application at the same time. So we will offer you another choice, is to you stake your assets in a pool, and you also get a derivative that means you have a voucher. You have a voucher proves that you have staking in the pool, and you can use that voucher to use in the DeFi application for loan or leverage or something like that. So as you name it, yeah.
This is a new audience. The Fever Africa. I see this guy first time. His question is, what makes Bifrost different from other coins, or maybe different from other projects? Yes.
Yeah.
What makes?
Actually, how we different from other projects is that we can compare it with some other projects also provide staking liquidity, same as what we did. We actually build the project up and on the substrate on Polkadot, and we actually want to build is that we don't need to concern about the security maybe maintained by ourselves or to cost a lot of our energy to pay attention on the consensus by ourselves. So firstly, connect with Polkadot power chain is the brilliant thing what we will do. And the other thing is connect with the Polkadot power chain. We can easily provide staking derivative and to gather the value for POS chains, but not hurt that POS security. But other project, if you do the staking liquidity for smart contract, the value capture of the smart contract, the total value of it cannot exist the 65% of the post chain, because it will hurt the post chain security, and that's the differences from us and others. And by the way, we can also provide the highest staking liquidity, higher staking returns than other projects, because we create a bidding field for bidders who want to buy the votes, who want to buy the dots or Kusama to be a validator. So the return of their validator APY will have opportunity to exist the highest return by now on Polkadot relay chain. Thank you.
Okay. The last question from our favorite Africa. A great project will not be created without an excellent team. Can you tell us some about your team and their experience in the crypto world?
Okay, that's a great question. We recently ready to launch our team members on our website page, and about our team is that our CTO has about 10 years on the development of sorry, I forgot the word. Actually, the security and technical team. Sorry, that's actually a hard question for me, because I never asked for that question by now, right? But for me, for only me, I can say that clearly. For me, that we actually made a dissertation in my university on Glasgow, and I talk about Bitcoin and the Ethereum and the future of SEC and the STO and the comparison between them. So my experience on the blockchain is that I used to be a medium player about the blockchain, and now I'm actually invest my own energy on the Polkadot ecosystem.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. We see our audience is full of enthusiasm today. Thank you, Tyrone, for answering so many questions. Thank you for today's sharing about Bifrost. We know Kusama slot auction will start. We hope Bifrost can successfully win the slot auction. Okay, and may our bank will support auction soon. And we will propose that. Please notice about our announcing message. We'll see the announcement soon. Thank you everyone for watching our live stream. And thank you, Tyrone. Today's AMA is ending. Thank you.
All right, thanks, host, and
Thank you.
thanks all audience for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys soon.
Okay.